Hey, Mental Fitness Matters family. Welcome back to a two-part series of mental training. If you're just tuning in for the very first time, make sure you go back to our latest episode, Mental Training 101. That way you can learn a little bit more about mental skills training. If this is something that's right for you, your team, or your athletes, make sure you tune back into that latest episode. In today's episode, we're going to be delving into the core of mental performance with a spotlight on mental skills training and the program that we're using at Mental Edge Fitness Solutions. As always, I am your host, Tracy Austin. If this is your first time visiting, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you never miss an episode. Before we set this forward about the mental skills training program, I want to give you guys a little bit of information about Mental Edge Fitness Solutions. Our certified mental performance consultant, Destiny Wilson, is back with us, so make sure you guys check her out. But let's talk a little bit about what Mental Edge Fitness does, and then we're going to talk about our comprehensive mental skills training program. So at Mental Edge Fitness Solutions, we're located in Cornelius, North Carolina. We offer programs in office and virtually online if you can't get to our locations. Mental Edge is a premier mental training program. We offer brain mapping, we offer neurofeedback training, and we offer a mental skills training program to help you, your athletes, and your team take advantage of their most important asset, which is their mind, okay? Everything we do starts from the brain. So we take that initial look at what's going on, how your brain and body can respond to stress, and then we implement the tools and the skills necessary to taking you to that next level. So what we have at Mental Edge Fitness and what Destiny Wilson has been a really core component for us in helping us create is our mental skills training program. It is a 10-hour, it's 2 sessions per hour, two sessions per skill. It's a 10-hour program that really hones in on the foundation of mental skills and mental training. The skills that we focus on primarily in the foundation of our program are growth mindset. We do self-talk, confidence, mindfulness and breathing, imagery, and goal setting. These are the fundamental and the foundational skills of our program, making sure that people have a clear understanding of what they are, how they can benefit you, your athlete, or your team. It's key. So what we're going to do today on today's episode, we're going to just go through briefly those 5 mental skills, what the benefits are, a brief overview of those skills, what those benefits are, and how you can get started training with us, whether it's in the office or virtually, okay? So let's go ahead and kick things off, Destiny. Let's shed some light on that very first skill that we talk about throughout our program, which is growth mindset.
Yeah. Growth mindset. I think before we talk about growth mindset, we need to understand a fixed mindset and that there's this continuum between a fixed mindset and growth mindset. So a fixed mindset is this belief that your skills, ability, talent is fixed or stuck, unchangeable. Obviously, this can get you kind of stuck in a little bit of a rut. A growth mindset is the opposite of that. A growth mindset is this belief that you can change, through whatever avenue it is, whatever you're needing to change, so that you're no longer stuck. You're able to grow. What's important is a growth mindset is useful when you're at the top of your game, and it's useful when you're at the bottom of your game. So a growth mindset for those who, maybe already are performing their best is going to keep them performing better and better and better. As their opponents are getting better, they also need to be getting better. Whenever you're maybe in a rut or you're in a plateau, that growth mindset working and finding when you're leaning towards a fixed mindset, you're able to shift it to a growth mindset. You're going to be able to get yourself out of that rut a lot quicker. So a few of the benefits that, I help athletes see by working on growth mindset that they're going to obviously experience is they're going to become more resilient. So they're going to be able to look at situations. Obviously, some situations you do need to kind of sit with that uncomfortable, feeling of I just didn't perform my best, but you can't sit with that too long. So by learning the growth mindset, they're able to kind of bounce back because they can look at that situation and see, okay, where could I grow? Or when I get back into practice, what can I do in order to make sure I perform better next time. Growth mindset is also going to help athletes have a process focus. And what that means is they're focusing on the process of their growth and helping themselves achieve their goals. We'll get into a little bit about goal setting, uh, as that's the last mental skill in the program. Growth mindset obviously is going to help with optimism, motivation, and even self-acceptance, because you do have to sit with those uncomfortable feelings, but then you have to grow kind of from them.
I love that. And I love that that's the foundation of our program, especially when it comes to that mental training. If you are an athlete currently, or you're a coach or a parent, and if you've ever watched your athlete or your youth or your child or your pro really kind of get into a place where they're stuck in a rut, and whatever we're thinking and whatever that mindset is, it's important. So being able to see yourself forward, see your path forward is key, and it's big to success and performance. So starting here as a foundational piece, really assessing where is their mind, where are they mentally, are they stuck, are they kind of not thinking and seeing that light at the end of the tunnel? How can you get unstuck? That's why mental skills is important, because you got to begin to understand where you are so you can begin to see that path forward and know where you're going. So growth mindset, that's that first thing that we talked through. Remember, it's a 10-hour program, and we work 2 sessions per skill. And so there's a part of that when Destiny already talked about in that last session where she's going to educate. She's going to begin to provide that education so your athletes understand, why is it that I'm here? Why am I stuck? What do I need support in? And helping moving you forward through that acquisition and that practice, okay? That next part of that, not only is our growth mindset, being able to kind of get out of that rut and get unstuck, important. Let's talk about self-talk. That is the thing. That's the software running beneath that program. And when we think about self-talk, it can either lead us forward, it can send us back, or keep us in the same place. So Destiny, give us a little bit of information about self-talk and how this comes into play in our training program.
Yeah. Self-talk is obviously going to be after mindset, because it kind of goes hand in hand together. Self-talk is that mental dialogue that you have either before, during, or after performances that can either positively or negatively impact your current or future performances. So that's self-talk, whether it's after a game, could be growth or fixed. So that's why self-talk is next kind of in our program. And all of these mental skills, I should have mentioned, when we're working through them, there's this level of self-awareness that an athlete is going to gain. And that self-awareness of their self-talk and understanding when it's helping or impacting their performance, it is huge. And that's part of the work that we do together, is helping them become aware of what tendencies they might have with their self-talk. There's different tendencies that everybody has, whether that's they're a perfectionist, or their value is based off their achievements. There's a bunch of different tendencies that they can fall into. And that's one thing that we work through whenever we're talking about self-talk, is recognizing what their internal dialogue is, and then helping them see, okay, how do I correct this? Sometimes it's not as simple as, okay, just be positive. Well, if you don't believe that positive self-talk you're telling yourself, it's not going to work. So we might have to break down some, negative or unconstructive self-talk that you've been telling yourself for quite some time, which is also, again, why it's great that we have 2 1-hour sessions to work on these, because athletes can go into practice and they can try to use, whatever tool they learned to change their self-talk, and maybe it doesn't help them. So we're able to go a different avenue. There's a bunch of different ways to kind of change your self-talk. The benefits that athletes are going to have by, working towards more constructive self-talk is they're going to have encouragement. Obviously, they're able to give themselves, boost of encouragement. They're able to motivate themselves better, recognizing when maybe they're being negative and beating themselves up, flipping that. Obviously, they're going to be able to motivate and encourage themselves. Athletes can use different types of self-talk, such as instructional self-talk. And by using that, they're able to maybe enhance their focus by, reminding themselves of a play or certain technique that they should be using. Self-talk also has the benefit of instructional learning. So maybe they're learning something new, a new pitch, and there's a few tips that their coach has given them. They're able to use that self-talk and quickly learn that skill that they needed. And then self-talk also has the ability to help the athlete experience real-time feedback. Sometimes some sports don't allow for athletes to get feedback right there in the moment. And by them becoming aware of, turning back some mental dialogue that's not helping them, they're able to use some mental dialogue or self-talk that's going to help them in their performance. Resiliency, I feel like, is a benefit of every mental skill, but resiliency is a big one for self-talk because they're able to kind of quickly snap themselves out of negative self-talk or, decrease performance.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And I think one of the things that you said that how it really increases self-awareness. And if we don't really understand how important and we don't value it until you really start to become more aware of how am I thinking? What am I doing? How am I feeling? How am I behaving? How does that lead to the goals or the outcomes that I want? And when you talk about self-talk really helping to increase that self-awareness of where we are, it is a game changer, guys. And this is not about faking it till you're making it. No, this is about really learning and educating yourself, knowing yourself, getting that edge. Everybody is looking for the edge. And if you have that mental edge, if you can really create a mindset for yourself that allows you to not only think and feel and be positive and be able to see your way through, that is your level up. That is your level up. So making sure that you're understanding the core foundation of what we're creating here is a platform for our athletes to be able to say, you know what? Everybody might be in the gym. Everybody might be lifting weights. Everybody might be running that mile. Everybody might be working on nutrition, but who's working on the mental game? And if you are strong mentally, if you can withstand those challenges and that adversity, if you can be resilient and bounce back and truly know and believe and not be faking it till you're making it, you're going to set yourself apart in every area of your life. And that leads to our next mental skill, which is confidence. Confidence. If you ever watch somebody that go out there and just perform and play and not have a care in the world, when they feel good, they perform better. Confidence is the key. Destiny, talk a little bit about the confidence portion of our program that you've helped us create.
Yeah. I love that you brought up faking it until you make it because I feel athletes have been told and heard, oh, be confident. You got to be more confident. And sometimes that makes them feel that they have to fake it until they make it because, okay, you're being told to be confident, but how do I necessarily do that?
Yeah.
So confidence is the belief in yourself that you can successfully achieve whatever you put your mind to, whether that's peak performance on the field, learning a new skill, whatever it is, you're confident in your ability, right? So when an athlete hears be more confident, what that coach is telling them is really summed up into something so small, but really confidence is developed into 4 separate categories. And that's the work that I do with the athlete is to kind of break down the 4 different categories and see, okay, this area you might be able to focus on a little bit more in order to enhance your confidence. And those 4 categories are going to be mastery experience. Mastery experience is successfully completing something so that you become more confident in it. The more successful attempts or performances you have, you're obviously going to become more confident. The next category is going to be vicarious experience. So vicarious experience is watching someone of your same skill level or ability being confident and successful in how you want to perform. The next category is going to be encouragement. So that's whether it's internal, which is why we go over self-talk before we go into confidence. So internal encouragement and external encouragement kind of from your coaches or parents or other athletes. And the final category that helps you develop your confidence and enhance your confidence is going to be feedback, whether that's physiological. So I felt good. I was stronger. I wasn't losing my endurance throughout the soccer match. Feedback can also be emotional, kind of from yourself. Maybe emotional control is something you're wanting to work on. So feedback can be from a bunch of different areas, whether that's also external from the coach. But those are the four categories that we look at, and we see what category can we target in order to help the athlete develop their confidence a little bit more. Um, Something that I also preface with the athletes is just because you feel really confident right now or not confident doesn't mean that can't change. So again, that's why we go over growth mindset first. Confidence is on a continuum in different areas of our life. We're more confident in things than others. Um, that also adds into that what we do in our sessions doesn't only relate to sport. They can take it into school, into the job force later on. But kind of getting back on track here, confidence is on a continuum. So if they are already feeling really confident, it's still helpful to know what the categories of building self-confidence are, so that maybe they have a poor performance, their confidence takes a little bit of a hit, they can adjust and build that confidence back up a little bit quicker rather than staying into that rut. The benefits that I help the athlete recognize that they will gain by learning and using mental skills to enhance their self-confidence is obviously peak performance. If you're working with a mental performance consultant, you're obviously trying to achieve peak performance. Quick and accurate decision making is something I don't think people recognize comes from confidence. If you're confident in your ability to make the correct decision or alter a play in the way that you need it, you're going to make those decisions a lot quicker and more accurately. Flow states come from those that are confident. They're not stuck in their head. They're in the game. Their body kind of takes over, and they're able to hit that peak performance without much resistance. It just naturally is coming to them. And then resiliency, as I've said, in every single mental skill. When you're more confident, you're going to be a little bit more resilient because you're confident in your ability to get back to the performance that you had after a poor performance.
Love it, Dee. Thank you for that. And as we continue on with kind of breaking through some of the things that we're training and teaching in our program, this next one is key. And we're starting to see more and more and more about mindfulness and breathing. This is the next layer of our mental skills training program. It's huge because as you're starting to work on that mindset, starting to really kind of look and see what are the things that I'm saying to myself and how's that impacting my performance. And as I'm starting to feel better and connect more with what I'm saying and how it makes me feel and get a little bit more confidence, it's really important to dive into mindfulness and breathing, the whole mind-body connection. If you guys have been paying attention, you're going to see more and more schools are implementing this type of training into the curriculum at schools. Colleges and universities are really starting to take a look at mindfulness. There's so much research behind how mindfulness really starts to center you from a mind-body state and really kind of getting you in control of your emotions and allowing you to perform at your peak. And so we could not have this as part of the foundation of what we're doing in training for our athletes. It's not only important to understand and see what you're thinking, but it's more important for you to start to make the connection with how you feel, being able to control how you feel, and utilize that in your performance. So Dee, talk a little bit about mindfulness and breathing and how that shows up for us at Mental Edge.
Yeah. Kind of before I get into that, when you were talking about recognizing that mindfulness and breathing is becoming more apparent kind of in the world around us in schools, it made me think of that. I was watching Miss Rachel. So I'm a new mom.
Yes.
And I was watching Miss Rachel, and there is an episode that they are already kind of teaching deep breathing. And I'm like, oh, my son's not even a year old and he doesn't even know what he's watching. But, when he's able to, I know that he's going to be able to learn how to effectively breathe.
Yeah.
So I just think it's really cool that it is becoming more popular, more recognized, that it is something that's important. So that's what we do at Mental Edge. When I'm working with the athlete, I help break down understanding what mindfulness is. And that is being able to be in the present moment without judgment. So this could be as they're winding down after a practice or a game, sitting with some of those emotions, breathing through it, not judging and just kind of experiencing it. Mindfulness is something that takes practice. Honestly, if I could have a whole program just on mindfulness, I would probably do that.
Yeah.
But I help the athlete to begin to start their mindfulness journey, because it's so big into the mind body connection, um, so that the athlete's body and mind are able to perform the way that they need it to. Um, so we talk about mindfulness, but then we also get into breathing techniques, helping them understand a complete breath, effective breathing, using their diaphragm, slowing their heart rate, maybe increasing blood flow, oxygen to their muscles. Uh, Breathing can be used to control energy, whether that's increasing energy, decreasing energy. Breathing is also able to kind of help athletes enhance their focus, because they're slowing down their mind, their body, making their body be at a state that it's able to hit that peak performance. Something that I also help athletes understand, and it's probably one of the most interesting research articles that I read while I was in school, is that the stress that is on an athlete's body doesn't cause injuries, but can increase their likelihood of experiencing injury. And when you think about it, that makes complete sense, because if you're holding this muscle tension, or you're distracted, you may become injured. So by learning mindfulness, breathing, decreasing that tension in the body, maintaining this homeostasis, that's just a big word for the body is balanced, it's stable, secure. You're able to kind of prevent injuries in a way. I don't like to say prevent, because just because you're stressed doesn't mean you're going to get injured, but research shows that it can affect your chances of getting injured. So that's one huge benefit about going through mindfulness and breathing and kind of stress reduction. So obviously that's a benefit, is stress reduction, stress management. Emotional control is a benefit. You're also able to focus better. I think I already touched on that. You're able to hit those flow states because your body is where you need it to be. Some people perform better with a higher level of energy. Some people perform better in the middle, or better with less energy, a little bit more relaxed. And that's just learning kind of who they are and how they perform.
That's huge. And when I like that you kind of shared about you being a new mom and kind of watching Miss Rachel there, because when we talk about our breath, it's so many things, and especially as you're kind of going through this component of training people kind of on how to breathe. When we think about as we're getting older and we're getting busier and the world gets faster, we're really having to learn how to breathe again. You know, when you look at our babies and you watch their belly go all the way up, and you look at your pets, if you've ever watched your pet, your cat or dog, just watch them lie on the floor and breathe. They have it perfect. They come out the womb knowing exactly what to do. You know, we get into this world and we get stressed and busy and anxious and all this other stuff going on. We pick up bad habits. And so one of the first parts of what's happening in these sessions, again, like Destiny was talking about, is the education. And then you got to learn how to acquire this new skill. And so oftentimes we're breaking down bad patterns or bad habits that we've picked up along the way. Most of us are short, shallow chest breathers, which is not allowing us to get oxygen to our brain or oxygen through the body. And, you know, and so really understanding how this impacts your performance, how it impacts that mind-body connection. I love that you threw in there about the increase in injuries. You're right. When you're holding on to all that tension, and just assess yourself right now as you're listening to us talk, just kind of pause for a moment, sit still for a moment, and just recognize any tension in your body, anywhere. Whether it's in your jawline, your trap muscles, if you have a headache, where are you holding that tension? And oftentimes we're so busy or moving so fast, we're not even tuned in. So remember that self-awareness piece is key. As we start to get more dialed in and tuned in to what's going on in our mind and our body, how we're feeling, making these connections, guys, it's a game changer. So this is not just for our athletes and for our teams. When you think about these mental skills, we can overlay this in any area of your life. And so if you're a busy mom out there, busy dad out there, busy coach out there, busy human out here, and you're looking for ways to tap into your own mindset and really gain some skills on how you can feel better, this program is also for you. Okay. This next part of what we're going to go to in our last component here is imagery and goal setting. I love this. I think this is huge. It's big. A lot of the work we do, we can create audio versions and solutions so that people are not just training with us in the office or virtually, but they're going to have something to take home with them that they're listening to, that they can play back over and over again, and it's with them. We're going to talk about imagery and goal setting because the truth of the matter is your mind, guys, doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's not. It doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's not. And so what you're saying to yourself, what you're thinking, what you're visualizing, it matters. And if you can learn the correct skills and tools to visualize the movie that you want to see in your head, set some goals along with that, your life can be changed. And it does take practice. Dee, tell us a little bit more about imagery and goal setting.
Yeah, I love that we have these two mental skills paired together. Technically, they are two separate mental skills. So if you want to say we have a mental skills program, it's kind of like a 6 mental skills program.
And on.
But we just felt like it was important to have these two together because imagery is about visualizing something that has happened or that you would like to happen. And it's very important for motivation, confidence, skill acquisition. So that's why we have imagery and goal setting together. So imagery is this ability to create a mental picture that you're able to experience the event mentally without having to do all of the physical. Imagery comes into play for those who have injuries and are able to take themselves through a practice being outside of practice. Imagery is important for goal setting as, you know, if they want to see themselves score so many goals in a single game, they can take themselves through a game, visualize those the goals that they have set for their goals. So imagery is huge. And while it sounds very easy to kind of create a mental picture, everybody is different. Some people have the ability to see such a vivid image in their mind. It's clear, maybe color, maybe they're able to control the speed of it. So one thing that I do with athletes is to kind of assess their ability to create an image and what does it look like? Is it kind of blurry? How can we strengthen it so that it becomes more vivid? That's just part of the process. And they also need to be able to control that image. So that's one reason it's going to take a little bit of time to develop the ability to visualize and then helping them figure out, okay, what do we want to visualize? What is our imagery script that we're going to create? So that's the work that we'll do on imagery. Goal setting comes into play where we will kind of obviously talk through the goals that they have, understand how to set goals. It sounds very simple, right? But if you think about it, we all pretty much set a goal every year around New Year's, and most of the time we don't achieve it. So by talking about goal setting, I help them understand how to make sure they're specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, action oriented. So what can you do in order to help you reach that goal? And that they're setting a deadline for themselves. And then not only knowing, okay, I set my SMART goal, but how do I go back and evaluate and sit with, do I need to make this goal harder? Is it too hard? How do I need to adjust it? And then also by going back, you're able to see like, okay, I achieved XYZ goal. I'm, progressing kind of quicker than I thought, or I'm right on track. And that gives them also a boost of confidence. So a few of the benefits that you're going to see by working on imagery and goal setting is the skill acquisition, the motivation to achieve your goals. You're seeing it in your mind. You know that you can do it. So you're going to be motivated when you get out there. You're going to have increased focus because you've taken yourself through so many mental rehearsals of it. you're going to achieve your goals. And I think I already touched on that. You're going to become more confident because you're building the image and practicing through visualization and imagery. And then you're also becoming more confident because you're achieving those goals and you're recognizing that you're achieving those goals.
That's huge. That is huge, guys. And that's kind of our foundation. That is our foundation of where we begin, where we start, really kind of assessing that mindset, wanting to kind of go from there and then build on each skill, so each thing builds on the other. And we really make an emphasis on it takes practice. It takes practice. Anything that you're learning, anything that you're doing, you don't just show up one time and think you've mastered it. No, it takes practice. And even after you've learned it, you add on to it so you get better and better and better. And that's what this mental training program is about. It's how do we practice these skills? How do we understand why we need these skills? How do we begin to use them in our everyday life? And then we go out and see and make adjustments along the way, being able to be flexible and pivot. And there's a range of things. So it's not just about the skills that we're offering in terms of our foundation. Depending on what those goals are, there's some other things that we can offer mental skills around. Destiny, we talk about communication, pre-performance rituals and routines, leadership, energy management. And so mental skills can go beyond the 5/6 that we're talking about now for Mental Edge. But there's other areas that we can bleed into as it relates to helping people really train to their peak. So like we said in our last episode, if you're listening to this, if there's something that you're thinking about, you have questions, you have topics, you have things you're like, hey, can we build a mental skills training program around this? Reach out to us. We can help you set that up. Dee can come out and assess your program, see what your needs are, and get you set up with your own mental training for the people that you're serving so that you're where you want to be, okay? So just know this is a foundation. It's a starting place, but we can lead into other areas, and it's not just for athletes. Business professionals, busy moms, dad, anybody with a brain. I think we all overthink. I think we all sometimes have problems with our self-talk and our confidence. So having a foundation and a skill set on how to get yourself on track can be a game changer, can be the missing link for you. Dee, anything else that you want to say before we kind of end off today's episode? It's a great overview.
I think the thing that I'll leave everybody with is just a little tidbit of maybe one thing that I give for homework whenever we go through self-confidence. And that is when you finish your day or you finish your practice, whenever you're ending something that maybe you have a tendency to look back like, man, today was just not a good day, or practice was awful, I performed horrible. Ask yourself, what was something I did well? Or what was something I improved on? And getting in the habit of asking yourself that, you're going to start working on a growth mindset, and you're going to be able to be more optimistic kind of going into the next day, and you're not beating yourself up. I think oftentimes we all have a tendency to lean towards negativity, and taking that time to just give ourselves some credit. Like, the day might have been horrible, but there was probably something that was good. Like maybe you hit 2 green lights on your way to work,
That's a win. That's a win.
Yep. That's what I'd like to leave everybody with. Just ask yourself those questions each day.
I love that, Dee, and I just love you, and I'm so thankful for you and all that you do for so many of us. And guys, if you're interested in this and you've kind of heard something today and you're like, you know what, I would love to kind of learn more, reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to do a consultation. 704-997-8240, 704-997-8240, or you can shoot me an email at tracy@mentaledge-fitness.com, and we'll make sure we put all that contact information in our show notes here. But if you or somebody that you know can benefit from really kind of having a foundation of training to improve and boost your mindset, we're your team. We've been doing this for quite some time. We have so many different skill levels and expertise on our team, and we're looking forward to helping people go to that next level mentally, but also, most importantly, the next level in life. Guys, a lot of times our mind is what's keeping us stuck, and we have so much untapped potential, and this could be the key to unlocking that for you. So don't wait. There's no time that's too late. Right now is the perfect time, okay? So make sure you go out, share this with your loved ones. We appreciate you guys for always tuning in. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, share this with a friend or a neighbor, and we cannot wait to see you soon. We're going to be doing more topics just like this to kind of help you along your journey. Don't hesitate to reach out. In the meantime, go out and shine bright like the stars that you are, and we'll see y'all soon.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Mental Fitness Matters. Be sure to subscribe wherever you heard this podcast so you never miss a future episode. If you found value in today's show, please share it with others. For more information or to connect with Tracy, you can visit her online and on Instagram at tracyalston.com and on LinkedIn and Facebook at Tracy Alston. Thanks again for listening, and we'll see you next time.